The Houston Rockets have just beaten the Oklahoma City Thunder by 15 points to extend their win streak to 3 games, which, after losing 15 straight, has created a bunch of smiles on Rockets fans' faces, including myself, as it seemed the Rockets were destined to plummet toward one of the worst seasons in NBA history. They've suddenly turned things around, with the squad finally gelling together and playing some fun, high-quality basketball. So, what's changed? Why have the Houston Rockets been so good lately? I'll be going over that in today's video. Before we start, if you're new here and enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe for more NBA content like this. I'd love to reach 18,000 subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that being said, let's talk about the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets' 3-game win streak has been extremely impressive to me because of the caliber of teams that they've beaten. The first W came against the Chicago Bulls, a top-tier contending team out in the Eastern Conference. Sure, Chicago probably came in a little bit cocky and didn't play their best basketball, but the Rockets didn't allow them to get away with that. One thing you can never forget about the Rockets is that they always play hard until the final siren, regardless of the team or the scoreline. So when the Rockets got things going against Chicago offensively, there was no way they were going to let up. The next W was against Charlotte, and the same thing happened. Charlotte came into the game slow, and the Rockets continued their brilliant form on offense, scoring 43 points in the first quarter. The Rockets held a 17-point lead at one stage until Charlotte took things serious and fought back into the match to send the game to overtime. Houston held their nerve though, edging out Charlotte in a great battle overall, but to be honest, the Rockets did give me quite a few heart attacks that day. And then the third W came against OKC today, where Houston were able to push away in the second half after a flurry of offensive possessions that ended in 3-point buckets. With the defense also improving, the Rockets are winning games now. And again, these aren't cheap wins against other bottom sides. So, what's led to this sudden success for Houston? How are they getting these Ws? The first big reason why the Rockets are winning now is their offense has been way better. There is way more fluidity on more offensive possessions each game, as Silas is implementing fewer isolation plays with KPJ, Wood, Jaylen, etc., and is getting some better movement through off-ball and on-ball screening actions, cuts to the basket, and quicker passes. This has allowed for players on this team to get downhill more, such as KPJ, which is where a lot of these guys are at their best offensively. This is resulting in much better opportunities to score inside the paint, more open 3-point shots as the defense collapses around guys like KPJ and Wood in particular, as well as many lobs to the basket where the majority of this roster can finish with a dunk due to superb athleticism. Silas has also been a lot better with rotations. He finally ditched the 2 big man lineup involving Tice and Wood, and as a result, the paint is a lot less clogged offensively, and the Rockets are getting inside a lot better now as a result, also turning it over a lot less inside too, which, as I've mentioned in a previous video, was a problem for them. Overall, things seem a lot cleaner offensively. There are way less stagnant possessions that result in an ineffective late shot clock. Just to prove this, the Rockets through their last 3 games are ranked 9th in offensive rating with a rating of 109.1. For the rest of the season though, they rank 29th with an offensive rating of 100. That's a huge difference, so it's clear to see that there's been some major changes in this win streak for the Rockets on the offensive side of the ball. The Rockets' defense has also mightily improved these last few games as well. The communication on that end is a lot better, and they've been forcing teams into more rushed possessions, particularly against Chicago, where they held the loaded offensive team with many capable 20-point scorers to below their average shooting efficiency. This is exemplified through the Rockets' defensive rating of 107.5 in their last 3 games, ranking them 15th in the league, whereas for the rest of the season, that defensive rating for the Rockets is a bit worse at about 105.8, which ranks them 17th in the league. It's not a major improvement like the offense, but it's improvement nonetheless and is helping the Rockets transform themselves into a competitive bad side, rather than an uncompetitive, terrible one. The Rockets players have been stepping up in this stretch of games too, of course. Christian Wood is the most notable one in my opinion, as he's now playing like a legitimate all-star through these last 3 games, averaging 24.3 points, 15.7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2.3 blocks. He's thrived since Houston scrapped the 2 big starting lineup, having a lot more space to catch lobs, step out and shoot the 3 ball, and also get down low inside and body his defender under the rim. To me, he's been way more assertive in this stretch, looking for a shot and a chance to get inside the paint and go to work. This is leading him to play at an all-star caliber level, and it's resulting in enormous success for these Rockets. The Rockets also recently added Garrison Matthews to the roster, and he has been simply brilliant for them. He's completely changed the way the Rockets play. Matthews came in just a few weeks ago, and within 5 games, he's become a starter for the team. His shooting ability has become so important to the Rockets' offensive system. The spacing he provides has been crucial. His shooting has opened up the floor so much that it's allowing for some more dynamic play for the Rockets on that end. His presence alone has allowed for his teammates to thrive. Not only that though, but he's been really good actually at scoring the ball as well. During this win streak, where he became a starter, Matthews' averages have leapt to 17 points per game on ridiculous efficiency of 57% from the field and 50% from 3. He's been clutch, hit big time shots when needed, and overall diversified the Rockets' offense when they needed it. There's no doubt this win streak doesn't happen without Matthews. He's been a huge addition to this team. Another player who stepped up big time during this win streak is Kevin Porter Jr. KPJ has developed into the point guard we want him to be, and though he hasn't been very efficient when it comes to shooting the ball, he's been beyond his years when playmaking. The passes he makes lately are smart, quality, that result in great looks for his teammates. It's why his assists per game have skyrocketed to nearly 11 per game during the win streak, no pun intended. He's making his teammates better, which is what point guards do. He's been a leader, and overall, he's quieting the doubters who've suggested he can't run the offense for this team. I mean, 11 assists is nuts, and to do it consistently against some of the best teams in the league, that is just phenomenal. Now, is Porter an all-star guard yet? Certainly not. But he is still so young, and to see him showing these flashes of all-star potential consistently, and to do it while playing winning basketball against top contending teams, is a fantastic sign of things to come. I also need to talk about Alperen Sengun today. Sengun's minutes can be amazing, and while sometimes he's inconsistent, being a team low in box plus minus against Charlotte, his effort and energy are so contagious that sometimes he seems like the most impactful player on the floor, just because of the heart and effort he shows. The heart he plays with is immense, and though it doesn't always appear in the stat sheet like he's making an impact, his ability to make plays defensively and create offensively is truly special, and lifts his teammates up with him. Soon enough, these random spurts of quality play that he has on both ends of the floor will become more consistent as he adapts to the NBA's physicality and pace. He's not afraid to take a charge, go for a block on a player leaping for a dunk, or try to use his footwork inside on some top-tier interior defenders. Sengun has the potential to be a great piece alongside KPJ, Jalen Green, and C. Wood down the track, at least a lot more consistently than he is now. And that potential gets me really excited about him and the Rockets' future, and this latest win streak for the Rockets confirms those thoughts even more. Some other players I have to note today quickly, just because of how well they've played, are Daniel House Jr., Eric Gordon, and Jae'Sean Tate. House Jr. has been streaky his whole career, so I sadly fear that his incredible play as of late will eventually slow down. But as of late, he's been fantastic, and has been instrumental to turning the Rockets around. In his last 3 games, House Jr. has shot 60% from 3 and has been a spark off the bench for Houston, providing the second unit with energy to inspire them. As one of the older players on the roster, he's been a great mentor for the younger lads on the squad, and this has been very important for building their confidence. Guys like Josh Christopher have spoken so highly of him. Eric Gordon as well is also quietly having a solid season, stepping up to create offensively for the Rockets when the young guys are struggling. His ability to get into the paint and finish in a variety of crafty ways has been great, as well as his shooting touch, with him currently shooting 43% from deep on the season and 46% in the last 3 games. His 14 points per game have been crucial to the Rockets' success. Again, his composure has been a must for this young squad. These two don't get a lot of recognition compared to the ultimate stars on the team, but they're chiming in their due diligence as vets and assisting H-Town build a fun, winning culture in this new era for the franchise. Jae'Sean Tate has continued his excellence lately as well, being a consistent threat offensively with his ability to body guys inside, as well as hustle defensively to make the opposition pay for their mistakes. With Tate improving offensively, particularly as a playmaker, averaging 13 points per game and 5 assists in his last 3 games, the Rockets' offense is becoming more and more versatile with him on the floor, and that's enabling him and the Rockets to not only be competitive, but win games against top-tier sides, as we've seen recently in this win streak. The impact of Tate is severely underrated to me, and I'm really glad to see that he's become a permanent starter for this squad. So those are all the positive changes I've seen in this recent Rockets win streak. From the players to the offense and defense overall, things seem better. But obviously, a team with a record of 4-16 still has a lot of room to improve. With the positives, there are some negatives. I would be completely wrong to ignore some things that the Rockets should improve on, so I'm just going to briefly discuss them now. One thing that I think the Houston Rockets should focus on moving forward is getting Jalen Green more touches when he comes back from injury. Jalen barely shoots 10 times a night some games, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because I thought the Rockets were resting guys like John Wall in the first place because we wanted to get Jalen more shots. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to have Jalen Green camp in the corners of the court on an offensive possession, not get passed to unless needed for a bailout late shot clock shot. Thankfully, we were starting to see him be utilized in a better role against Chicago, where he dominated early for 11 points in the first quarter before his injury. If Silas continues playing him like that moving forward, Green is going to shine and put his name back in the Rookie of the Year conversation. It's as simple as that. Turnovers and free throws have continued to plague the Rockets as well, but there has been improvement, like today against OKC, where we had only like 12 turnovers. It's a good sign, but again, we can be better. But that's really it for the negatives for the Rockets. There's just been so many positives lately. The Rockets are finally figuring things out, and it's amazing to see. So I really wanted to focus on that today. I don't want to jinx anything here, but the Rockets have some seriously winnable games this next month or so. When I saw the Rockets' schedule before the Chicago game, I was expecting us to snap the losing streak at some point. I mean, we're facing teams like OKC twice and the Orlando Magic. But I definitely did not expect us to do it as soon as we did, or be able to turn it into a sizable win streak. But the fact this could last even longer now than what it is now is so exciting, and as a Rockets fan, makes me so happy. Us Rockets fans have been through hell and back the past month during that awful losing streak. So for us to be winning again and be winning against great teams is so exciting. It confirms the potential that this team has to be great in the future. So I really cannot wait to see what happens from here on out. I'm not expecting too much, not a playoff push or anything like that. But again, this win streak is just a great sign for things to come as our plays develop. So, as a die-hard Rockets fan myself, I just had to talk about all the positives today. And that will conclude the video. What do you guys think of this? What are your thoughts on the Houston Rockets' latest win streak? What's changed, and can they keep this play up? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.